Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today I will be doing a tune on the foxbody. It currently has the stock ECU, and I'm going to put a microsquirt on it. So I'll be got my table here ready, ready for all the items that I'm gonna need. So just a quick overview of what I've got. Here's the microsquirt. This takes the place of the stock ECU. This part of it, as you can see, it's got an adapter, and it goes over to the microsquirt. You do have a 3-bar map sensor. It is a speed density based ECU, and other than that, there is this cable here. It goes from a DB9 to a USB. For those of you that have a laptop that doesn't have this old DB9 port, this can be found on Amazon. I can put a link to the cable that I use. Pretty cheap, $9-10 or so. Next thing I've got is my timing light. I happen to have the one that you can set from 0, or you can advance it and find 0 on the balancer. Distributor wrench, and I actually, since I'm going to be working by myself, I like using this whistle here to find top dead center. That's pretty much what you hear when you're on the compression stroke. This car, I'm not going to be using I'm going to be using my own wideband, but it's not going to stay permanently fixed. So I usually hook it up to the cigarette lighter. If there's not a cigarette lighter option, then I run it to the battery with these terminals, and I've got enough distance here to run through and bring it into the car. So I'm going to go ahead and move the cars, get the box bodies centered up, and get started. Alrighty, so I got the car where I want it. I'll do a quick walk around. Super clean Mustang GT Fox body, as you can see here. For the most part, a lot of the stuff is still here. No wire tuck. It's got battery stock location. Nice powder coated GT40 intake. Only mods I see are the intake. We've got some headers. Cold air intake kit. This car still has the AC, trick flow, stage 2 cam, and we do have some AFR heads. So we'll try and get a nice choppy cam sound out of this thing. It should sound great with the TFS2. And the weather is cooperating nicely. It's 60 degrees today, so that's real nice. And this one is sporting the SVE wheels. So I'll get started. First step is remove the ECU. Disconnect the battery, remove the ECU, and what we're going to be doing is removing the stock BAP sensor here and put in the 3-bar map in its place. So I'll go ahead and get started on all that. I'll update as I can, and then finish this up, start showing some of the tuning stuff as well, setting the timing, and yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay, so I'm now ready to remove the ECU. I've already taken off this one Phillips head screw and removed the passenger side kick panel. And what you want to do here is remove this wide bracket here. It's got a green 9/32 screw. I've already removed it just for ease of showing what to do here. But this is where the stock computer is on a foxbody Mustang 87 through 93. I will go ahead and remove it now and show you how that's done. Just pull up on this tab here and slide the computer out just enough to where I can remove this bottom screw that holds the ECU to the wiring harness, and that is a 10mm. Okay, kick it out of the way, and you should be able to just slide this ECU out. This is the stock one. This one happens to be an A3M, and this one does have a SET chip. So this car was tuned with stock computer and tuned with the chip. So I do not have that software, so I will tune with MICROSQUIRT. Here are the 3 items that we're going to use to replace that ECU. This connector here goes in the stock location, and as I mentioned earlier, that clips right onto the MICROSQUIRT. And communications between the ECU and your laptop will happen through this DB9 port. It uses this headphone style jack. Click here, route it up to where I usually put them in the glove box, to where I can access them if needed at a later time. You do have some extra wires here on a MICROSQUIRT. The yellow one, it can control your fan. You've got the pink one, which is for your wideband if you choose to have that feature on here. Otherwise, if you don't hook up a wideband, it uses your stock O2 sensor on the right bank. And then this is a TAC output. That is for if you want to run an output TAC. And then other than that, this ECU can run 2-step, and it can also what else, it's got a couple other features, so therefore it gives you some extra wires here. There's, you know, this one here is configured, this MICROSQUIRT is configured for a foxbody. They do make this for other cars, but this one's an easy plug and play. They give you the short harness, and it's all good. Yep, so I will go ahead and install this and move on to setting the timing next. Okay, so now I've installed the wideband sensor. It is I mounted it on the passenger side for this car, and it's going to be temporary. I've also mounted the 3-bar map sensor. Wired it up and mounted it. Once I verify everything is working properly, I will bundle all this, put it in a loom, and make it look real nice. Ran my vacuum line going to the intake, And the next step I'm at is to verify the timing, that the distributor is stabbed in correctly. I just want to make sure that it is at top dead center. The rotor is pointing at the proper location. So I'll show you what I'd look for to begin with. This car is pretty low, and most Mustangs do. So I lifted this car and put it on jack stands. And this balancer had already been marked. But what I'm looking at here is, see if this light will shine properly. If not, I'll point it out. This black line is on the 0 mark. This is an aftermarket balancer, harmonic balancer, and it is marked at 0. It is then marked at this yellow line here at 12 degrees. And I'm gonna focus on this black line, the 0 mark, because my timing gun does have the ability to look for the 0 mark. The ones that are fixed timing, as far as don't have the variable, then that is probably why this was marked on the yellow one at the 12 degrees, sorry. So basically, if you wanted to say set your timing at 10 degrees or 20 degrees, you can put a mark here and you can see it on the timing gun, and I'll show you that on another step. But basically, since I'm working by myself, I do have the whistler that I mentioned earlier. I did take out spark plug number 1 and put this in place. Right now I know I'm on the compression stroke, but let's assume that I did not know that. What I want to do next is turn the engine over. I've already put this in place, this pry bar here, and if I'm on the compression stroke, this whistler here should make some noise, which I am expecting it to. And what I'm looking for is that when that 0 mark gets to the pointer mark, let's see, let me try to get in here. Right here, this pointer you see in this video here. Let's see if I can. Okay, this edge right here has got to match up to the 0 at the same time that this rotor will be pointing in this direction here, to where it is pointing at the number 1 spark plug wire. So let's just see if that happens. There's the whistle I was talking about. I am on the compression stroke, and if you don't have this whistler here, all you can do is just put a piece of paper there, put your finger there, whatever, you'll feel the compression coming up. So anyway, let's keep on going. Let's see where I'm at down here with the 0 mark. It's gonna be somewhat hard to see. I'm sort of flipping this camera around, so hopefully it's still, you can see it. It's almost there. Okay, if you noticed, the whistle stopped. I am now at the 0 mark. The black mark is now on my pointer that I pointed down here on the balancer. My rotor is now pointing to the 1 position. Here's the number 1 spark plug wire here. If you remove this cap, you will see that the rotor is pointing there. So I'm gonna say this distributor is at top dead center. Okay, so the next step is just to connect to it with the Tuner Studios, and just see if I can connect to all the sensors. Go ahead and try and give it the first start. I've already wired the wideband sensor. I wired it to the passenger side H pipe. This one has shorty headers. I didn't mention that earlier, but that's the location of it. Temporarily I'm running it here into the cabin. I have verified that the distributor was installed correctly. I checked top dead center with the whistle, and didn't put, here we go, put in this spark plug wire back on. Okay, so we're good there. I have also now installed the 3-bar map sensor, ran the vacuum line to it, removed the old BAP sensor, and I will tuck all these wires nicely once I verify everything is working the way it should. Reconnected the battery, and that is my neighbor, in case you're wondering, with his Corvette. And here's the BAP sensor that I removed. So now let's see if I can connect to this thing. So let's see. I don't know if you, yeah, here we go. So this car, I've never connected to it. So I'll go ahead and put the key forward. I do hear the fuel pump running for priming purposes. It worked well. Okay, so create new project. This is a fresh new install. This is, I'll type in the customer's name here. 93 GT. This is your project name. Let's go ahead and click detect. And while it's searching, what I'll mention is that I've already hooked up the wideband sensor. I mentioned that, but I didn't mention the connection between the DB9 and the USB port. That's already taken place here. So let's see if I can find, there it is. I found RS-232 port. We go ahead and accept it, and we click next. Let's go to next here again. It is showing you that the port has been tested successful, so click next again. That is your gauge layout. You have other options to put dashboards on there, but I want to stick with the stock one here. Say finish, and we are now connected. As you can see, the coolant temperature sensor is reading there. There's my throttle position. Let me see if it varies, and it does. I see the TPS sensor. As you can see, it is showing 1.7. So let's go ahead and calibrate that. You go to tools, calibrate TPS, and close throttle. That's with your foot off the pedal. Click get current, and then go ahead and floor it and get current on full throttle. Leave the pedal fully pressed and hit accept. We should now read 0 and 100, which I would say that's pretty darn close. Okay, another good indicator that I always look for to make sure I wired my map sensor correctly is that the map sensor is reading real close to 100. In this case it is. Next step I'm going to do is go ahead and change this to required fuel. This is a 331. It does have 30-pound injectors. Okay, let's hit burn, close. So this is a good time to go ahead and do a save tune as file. Save tune as. You can leave it the way it's populated if you like. You can put a custom name, and I'm gonna call this startup. I'm gonna leave the name of the date and the other part of it, which is time. Now hit save. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave my map open. This is an NA car, so I've got 100 kPa down to 25. I've got RPM from 500 to 6,000. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that open, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to start the car, and by it being fully highlighted, I want to see where my fueling is, and I'm gonna try to keep this car running. One other thing that I should probably mention is currently this car is set at fixed timing at 10 degrees. That's where it's set up, 10 degrees. And so let's change that. Use table and hit burn. Okay, we are live still on the computer. You can tell by seeing the coolant sensor. So let's give it a shot. I haven't tried it before, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if it'll start up. Okay, here we go. you're wondering, every time I hit burn, it's going to go through that loop where it pauses the communication between the ECU and the laptop. So it pauses it interrupts the idle. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's assume I give this more fuel, a hit burn. There you go, that's what I'm talking about. Sounds pretty good. So I'll do a real quick walk around. There's lots of other things I still got to go through, but I want to just see what we got here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to verify the timing is synchronized, but I will do that next. So get your idle here. Try to lean it out some more. See if it's happy there. Anytime you make changes, make sure you are going to file, save tune. Alrighty, for now I'm going to turn this off. I'll be back to show you some more. Okay, here's a little update. The car is now driving, idling good. Do a quick walk around. Did adjust the idle screw a little bit, mess with the idle timing, and did some driving around looking at data logs, and all was good. And once I kick the AC on, it does bring out the choppy cam a little bit more. I'll show you that next. Give it a couple revs first. Comes right back down, settles where it should. It'll kick the AC on. Maintains its idle. I'll just make sure, let the car cool down, make sure the idle and startup is good, and kind of call it good from this point on. Tuck all this mess up where it belongs, and give it back to its owner, Alex. Let me know if you have any questions on any of what I showed today. I didn't go into full details, but there's quite a few other steps. I'll be happy to help anybody out. Let me know. Thanks. Alrighty, it's all finished. Just double check the cold startup, and this is what you're listening to. So I would say it is good to go. Ready for its owner to come get it and enjoy it. Able to wash the Shelby while I was waiting on this Fox to cool down. Give it a quick little rev here. Idle's right down, perfect. No dips. So we're good to go, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. Until next time.